Hi guys, welcome to the Interviewing with Play review for Pro Evolution Soccer 2009 on the Nintendo Wii. This review is designed to let you guys have a look at the game and hopefully make an informed decision on whether or not you want to pick up the title for the Wii. I mean, it's very different to the next generation consoles, so hopefully this footage will help you make a decision. When it comes to the presentation and graphics side of the game, you'll be not surprised to know it looks a lot similar to the PlayStation 2 version as opposed to the PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360 versions. Mainly a lot of the stuff you'll see is familiar with that of the PS2 version. You've got the player models which still look very impressive, they still look good, and you can tell just looking at the screen who most of the players are. Again, you can see the kits are pretty spot on for those teams that are licensed. I mean, again, with Pro you know it's going to be kind of a case of half the teams aren't going to be licensed, but the ones that are do look very good. Stadiums, very impressive. I mean, it's got 16 or 17 stadiums on the game, but it has got Anfield, as you can see here, and Old Trafford, which are things that obviously a lot of English football fans want to see. Going on to the cameras, there's only actually two types of cameras, something which I know a lot of you asked about. When you're used to playing it on the plethora that they've got on the other consoles, you'll be surprised there's only two, and both of them are actually quite far away from the action. But when you actually put that into consideration with the way the game plays, you don't want to be too close to the action because you need to see the whole picture of what's going on, and you tend to use this camera with less use on the radar. One of the best features in the presentation from my personal point of view is the tactical screen, the selection of players screen. Instead of having a long list, which is something the Wii does tend to draw away from, what you've got is little icons of each player, and as you can see on the right of the screen here, you've got a limited number of stats which are divided into three categories, and then this helps you make quick decisions. It's ideal for younger gamers who are maybe not familiar with the players themselves. If you don't know what the player looks like, it can take a little bit of time to get used to flicking through, but once you've started playing the game quite a while, you find this a lot easier, especially when you take into consideration the Wiimote. The gameplay is obviously massively different on the Nintendo Wii from the other versions. You can actually use the classic Wii controller if you have got one, but most of you won't have picked up a Wii controller, and that's not a huge surprise. So you'll be playing with a Wiimote and nunchuck, as you can see shown here on the screen. It's pretty much as you expect. If you played the 2008 version, there's not going to be a lot of surprises here. They've improved the defending slightly. Passing is achieved by pointing the Wiimote at the location where you want the ball to travel to and pressing B, as you can see here. I mean, this action is the one that you will use more often than not, as the emphasis is placed on passing as opposed to dribbling. Dribbling can be done by pointing the Wiimote as well, but is usually done by using the joystick on the nunchuck. And as you can see here again, it allows you for a lot of sharp movements and does feel actually quite natural and quite comfortable. Shooting is arguably the most fun part of it, and this is the same for clearing the ball as well. It kind of replaces square. On the PlayStation version, you do that by swinging the nunchuck to generate power. You can also shoot by pointing at the goal and pressing B with the Wiimote. The training camp, which is opened up at the start of the game, is perfect if you've never played the game before. It gives you a basic rundown, as you can see on the screen, of what you expect it to do. It then gives you on-screen demonstrations of the tasks you have to complete, and then similar to other versions of Pro Evolution Soccer, there's a point-based system whereby you have to complete each task before you can move on to a more difficult one. Something which will help newbies. One criticism of a lot of the Wii games is their lifespan and the fact that there aren't enough game modes for each particular game, especially those that have been transferred across. That's not the case for Pro Evolution Soccer. There's all the basics, Master League, the leagues, but also on top of that they've got the Champions League mode, something which I know a lot of gamers are looking forward to seeing. It's something that's featured in all the other versions of Pro Evolution Soccer. As you can see, graphically it does represent the kind of thing you'd see on ITV or Sky, with the top bar and also the pre-game presentation screens. There's also the option to create your own cups, something which does add a great lifespan to the game, especially if you've got a few mates playing with you. You can choose things like whether it's a knockout competition, group names, and then you can totally customise the teams to take part in the competition as well. Something which most Pro Evolution Soccer gamers will be familiar with, but it's nice to have an inclusion on the Nintendo Wii. The Champions Road, something which I haven't experienced before, allows you to take your team of Master League veterans such as Yarrick, Dodo, Miranda, and Castolo, and put them into a situation whereby for every match you win, or every group of matches you win, you can acquire one of the players of the teams you've played against. Something which really adds some lifespan to it. This works alongside the Champions League as well. So there is the Master League, sorry. So there is the actual Master League option there as well. Something which gamers will be familiar with. The edit mode, something as good as anything you'll see on the PlayStation 2 version. As you can see here, there's a wide variety of boots, something which I know a lot of people are interested in, similar to what you started off with on the PlayStation 3 version of Pro Evolution Soccer 2009. And whilst the stats might be less in depth than the next generation counterparts, there is a fair amount. The emblem editing allows you to design your own logos for your teams, especially good for those teams that aren't licensed on the game. You can either do a partial composition, whereby you put little images in together, which is fine for the casual gamer. If you're a bit more of a die-hard fan, you want to see your team's logo on, you can draw it in using the pixels, although that does take a great deal of time. The Me mode, something which is a little bit different to what you're used to on the PlayStation, Xbox, allows you to have your little custom characters into the game and then play the matches with them either in normal size head or big head mode, as you can see featured here. This is pretty good fun when you're playing with mates, especially as it actually feels like you are taking part in the game, and it also gives those gamers who don't really like football games the opportunity to play. The penalty shootout is something which I've mentioned before in interfering with play. Excellent feature whereby you can actually choose to chip, power or place the penalties, depending on which button you press, and this couples with goalkeepers that can actually move along the goal. Online in the Wii as a whole is actually very good. I mean, as you can see here, you don't have to sign in, so you can have your own ID, and the menu screen actually works quite well in comparison to an actual lobby. The loading screen also looks very good. In my experience, I've had some games which have been lag-free. Unfortunately, as we call in the review, I had some of the worst lag of experience, as you can see here on the screen. I've got possession of the ball, passing it around nicely. Before you know it, the ball's down the other end and you've actually conceded the goal. Couple this with matrix-style movement of players that are getting free kicks given against you before you know it. It's a bit disappointing, really, to have this kind of feature still plaguing the next generation versions of the Pro Evolution Soccer. Overall, Pro Evolution Soccer 2009 does a good job on the Nintendo Wii. Yes, it is different, but Konami shouldn't be punished for trying different things using a different control medium and control method. It doesn't really rival that of the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, so if you own those two consoles, you'll probably be more suited to playing the game on those. However, if you only own a Wii or are looking for a game for younger children, which arguably could be the future of football gaming, you'll find Pro Evolution Soccer 2009 for the Wii very enjoyable. It offers enough depth to make it worthwhile a purchase, and the ability of the game will keep you playing for quite a while. It's available now from all good retailers.